Hey Latinas,
I'm Nastasia.
and I'm LaTeaNa, y vamos a latear un poco. We're empowered Latinas who want to make you feel celebrated, inspired, and heard by providing Latina.
LaTeaNa is a weekly podcast that can be found anywhere. We are raising our voices and making an impact by diving deeper on the topics that get swept under the rug and more.
Frequently having guest Latinas who are making a powerful difference. Join us to expand this great community.
Let's pour some tea. Hi, Latinas!
Hi Latinas!
We are super excited and really thrilled because we have Amanda Pericles here. Hi, Amanda.
Hi, hi.
How
Hey,
are
hey,
you?
hey.
I'm good. How are you?
Doing really, really good. As much as you can in like 2020, right? Because
Right, with everything that's
Yeah.
going on.
right. And you're on top of that, you're a new mother. So like we're not even gonna put pressure on I'm doing good right now. It's
It's a whole different
I'm
level
here.
and field.
I'm participating.
Exactly. You're actually playing the damn game.
I put on a shirt today.
Right?
Oh
So
god.
like I came across your page, and I want to say this was like maybe like a couple years ago, but it was after I got into like a really stupid argument about the existence of Afrolatinas because apparently we're like on the same wavelength as like unicorns and Santa Claus. Like on the West Coast, at the very least on the West Coast, like people are not so forthcoming with their beliefs in our existence. So, and I remember typing in Afrolatinas to show this person, like, no, like we exist in the search engine. And then your page popped up. And then I just saw like this pouring of like beautifully melanated Latinos from like all shades and ranges and hair textures and countries and backgrounds. And it felt like Christmas to me, like to see us celebrated and encouraged. And I know I'm not alone because you have like 20 something thousand followers who I'm sure feel the same exact way about the community that you've created. But I wanted to know like how this all started for you, what was going through your mind, and yeah, all of that.
Yeah. So, when did I start the page? 2015, I think. So we're coming up on 5 years, I think, on the 10th.
Oh.
And so I was in college. I really didn't identify much with like the Latinx Hispanic crowd. And I found myself really just hanging out with like the Black non-Hispanic crowd, whether that be like, the Africans, Caribbeans, Black Americans. But I always felt like othered for some reason. And it was probably self-inflicted at that point. Looking back, you feel like you're othering yourself. You're like, "Ugh, I'm not like them. We're totally different. We have different cultures. I speak Spanish, you don't," kind of thing. Um, but after college is really when I was like getting into my like ethnic racial identity search, as like a privileged light skinned person who, didn't have that talk kind of in their household. And I know that lots of other Black Latinas unfortunately didn't have that experience, and they've been told, or they knew that they were Black like their whole life. um but for me, I was that typical stereotypical like, I didn't know I was Black girl. And I was so yeah, I was going through that. And having like a Haitian boyfriend at the time, I was always around Black people. So I was getting into my natural hair journey, and I was like letting that flourish. And that was kind of like a big step into my ethnic racial kind of journey, I guess you could say. And then I actually came upon Elizabeth Acevedo's poem on YouTube. So I know that you guys interviewed her, her poem called Afrolatina. And so I was like, oh my gosh, this is a thing. So and I felt like really empowered after watching the video. And I like literally just like made the page that day, and I was like searching like Afrolatina and like Googling and like looking at the hashtags and like trying to find like celebrities who were like Black Latinx celebrities. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, so I felt like really empowered, and I felt like I had like a place at that point, but I didn't really know much about it. So I like found, and I was really inspired by like those curly hair pages too, of course, being like a natural girl at the time. So you know how they just post people like the regular girls, and then you're like, oh, I wish I could get posted one day. So I kind of just made the page to make it so that the average go lucky girl could also get posted on the page one day. So yeah, that's kind of how it started. But yeah, it was back 5 years ago, and it's been a long time, but
I
that's kind of how it started.
I there wasn't like, okay, I'm gonna plan this out. I'm gonna make sure I have this. It was like I
No,
saw
the same day.
I saw, like, yeah, I saw her. It's like there was like no thought. I was like, I'm just fucking doing it.
Yeah. I was like, I probably should have thought about this a little bit more, but that's okay.
No, it's totally fine. At what point was it when it was like, shit, this is kind of blowing up?
Let me think. Well, I feel like, okay, so maybe it took a while to get to like 1,000 followers. I feel like it took like a couple years or like a year and change or something, but I feel like I was getting people like reaching out to me like rather quickly too, and people just like submitting pictures and like me finding other pages and then finding me, and then like quickly, I think my big like thing when things like popped off was probably like 2018, like end of 2017, 2018, when I was like being involved in like certain things and being invited to like be on podcasts or like be on this panel or something like that. And yeah, but also, you know, that comes kind of with like just like consistency. I was posting like all the time, and I'm sure you guys know about like burn and stuff. Like I've been so not active on the page for like the last year and change, just because like I run multiple pages, so I'm just like let one go and go do the other one for a little bit. And then sometimes when I feel like I have the energy, especially with this page is my biggest page, so it's like so much to like even just scroll. I'm just like, oh my gosh, I was like getting like anxiety, like overwhelming anxiety. So I was like, I don't even want to go to the page. Like, I don't want to check my DMs. I don't want to like repost things to my story. I don't want to post anything. So
it's a whole
I was
job.
like, break. Yeah. And I'm like,
It
oh my
really
gosh.
is. Because much like you, I also have different platforms and feeds
Yeah,
you
I
can find me
saw.
on.
Yeah.
And it is insane. And I don't even have that big of a following like in my other one, for example. But because it's a community one, much like yours, and I get so many reposts and so many, which is beautiful, like so many different parts of the community, especially in the Latinx world as well. But at the same time, you're like, oh my God, like that's a whole lot of content I have to deal with. Plus I have this, plus I have another one going on. So I understand you
Yeah, I'm like,
completely. You're like, give me a hot second.
I'll come back in 3 months.
I just started this randomly as well. Because oh my gosh. So congratulations for doing that and then some.
Thanks.
Because I know you got to school. I know that you were like having, you know, your job. I know you're just a mom, of course. So you're definitely all those three things rolled into one. So
yeah, I blame my mom
props
for like
to you.
wanting to be involved in everything at the same time.
Yeah.
I'm like, I just want,
agree.
if I could have an Instagram for everything, like at one point I had one just for like makeup stuff, and I was like, and then it just got too much, and I was asked to do like a takeover one time, and I had 5 accounts and I couldn't sign into their account, so I had to delete one. And I was, because you can do it's like a max that you can be signed into on your phone, and so I had my sister's phone to do the takeover, and I was like, oh my gosh, what is happening? So I was like, can I even handle this? Like,
I know. I have been there, girl. Been there.
Yeah.
And you're like, I have to sign out. I don't want to sign out. And then you're like, okay, hold on.
Because I had drafts like ready, and if you sign out, then you lose your drafts. And I was
exactly.
Wait, you can save drafts?
Yes.
Yeah. Where have you been?
Fuck, I don't know.
Your face is an utter shock.
Hold on.
Go pretend. Go pretend you're gonna make a post.
Exactly. As Nastasia pulls out the phone, because our audience
She's
can't
like,
see
let me
this.
check. Okay, so go pretend you're gonna make a post.
Right.
Write a caption. Write like a fake caption, like just be like blah blah blah, or like
an emoji.
Exclamation point. Yeah, and then go press back.
Okay.
And then it's gonna be like save as draft or discard.
No, it does not offer me that. I press back.
You sure?
Yeah, it just takes me back to the editing.
You have to go like.
Oh, I see.
Oh, girl.
Guys, Nastasia
We've enlightened her.
Has entered the 2020 chat of saving drafts on Instagram.
And then signs back.
When did Instagram come out? Like 50 bajillion years ago. Wow, that's like 10 years later. Good job.
There you go.
That was good.
You learned something.
I'm glad that you know now.
Yeah, that's gonna help you. You can't sign out now. Don't sign out because it's gonna lose the drafts. But they're really useful to have.
Okay.
All right. Really don't have to.
Nastasia has entered the 2020 chat, and
I think you only have 3 accounts though, which is still a lot of accounts. But I think you only have 3, so I think you're fine.
No, you know what though? I have like this random like photography account because
that's right.
But like I don't let any like it's like not for like me to be like, oh, come check out my photography. It's literally just to, like when a client wants to come in and be like, hey, can you shoot me? I'm like, yeah, just go to this page. You can view it. There's like just images of what they can do. But that's like my fifth one, along with like the other things that I also don't go on. So like, and I've tried deleting them, but it won't let me. So I'm just like, okay, I'm just going to accept my fate. And this is it.
Ooh.
Yeah. I want to go back just a little bit, because something you said, it was kind of very similar to how I grew up, which is like, I was told my whole life that I'm not supposed to say that I'm Black, and like not supposed to say, right? Like we don't go out in the sun, we don't get darker, arregla la raza, like don't procreate with somebody who's darker than you, all that crap, all that bull crap. Let me just specify right now. But I know that there were a lot of Afrolatinas who did, or Latinos who did not grow up that way. Like they grew up knowing who they were and their roots, and they were proud of it. Wish I could relate, but unfortunately it is a common topic. Like sometimes, some were growing up not knowing that. And so I wanted to know, wanted to see if I could have you dive deeper into that growing up like that. And tell us.
So I'm technically mixed race. So like my father's a white Dominican and my mom's a Black Dominican. So like growing up, it was very much like school, church, home, very involved in church. And my church is, I would say, like half Dominican, like half Guatemalan. So I grew up with lots of like indigenous Guatemalans and actually like lots of Black Dominicans and like Caribbeans, but of course like they didn't say that. So I was around lots of Black Latinxes, and indigenous Latinxes, but it was never specified that we were that. And lots of my friends, of course, again, were like either indigenous or not Black or Black. So I never felt like out of place, really. It was never something that was pointed out to me, like that I was that different from them. I don't even think I realized, it was just like they were my friends and we hung out and we always did things together, and this was like our church family or whatever. And in my family, again, my dad's side is like pretty white. Yeah, they look like Italians. And then my mom's side is Black. So again, it was not something that was really pointed out, aside from like my dad calling me like mi morena, like, or like my hair, like, oh, yes, pajon. But it was like not a thing really. I wasn't told to not go out in the sun. I wasn't told, those kinds of things. But I did get my hair relaxed for like a very long time. So there was that. So yeah, it was something that like I didn't really notice. I had the privilege of like not noticing and not being pointed out to me, probably because I wasn't so far out on the spectrum. You know what I'm saying? Like, so like, my facial features, my hair is like a little like less, it's not as tightly coiled, but it's still like a fro. And then of course there's like the respectability politics. Like we were taught to speak properly at church in Spanish. And so my parents don't really speak like with the Dominican slang or like with an accent. My mom like will code switch when she's with her family, but otherwise she speaks like proper, quote unquote Spanish. So like all those different things, I was just really like raised with respectability politics at the forefront and like properness and like, that was, I feel like, the main thing. And it wasn't really something that was heightened in my experience until I got to college, where I was like, okay, natural hair, like social justice, like being around more Black people that were aware of their Blackness and, blacker looking than I, with the features in the hair and, their experiences, their lived experiences, like every single day, on campus, whether they were at home. So it was very difficult for me to come to terms with, and it's something that like I literally hate. I'm like, ugh, like I hate being light skinned. Like I hate being light skinned, like loose curled Dominican. Like it's so annoying. I wish I like had lived that experience from the beginning. And I know that's kind of naive to say, because it's not to say that it's easy or anything, but I wish that I wasn't that stereotypical. Like I wasn't Black enough for them, and I wasn't Latina enough for them, and I didn't know I was Black kind of a person, So yeah, it was something that wasn't really mentioned in my household at all. So it's something that now, as an adult, I talk about these things with my mom, or my sister talks about it with me, with my mom. because I have a sister who's like 10 years younger. So it was something that she saw me kind of going through as well, like with the hair and then with the identity and kind of realizing all the injustices that occur when you have this skin color or when you have this identity. Yeah, so it's been like a very like insightful, introspective journey for sure. I try to be as like, I don't know, I try to like step back as much as I can and like really think about things. Like even just being invited to a podcast, like I was invited to speak on a panel this week, and I was like, I would feel much more comfortable if you like reach out to these people, or like knowing that you reach out to these people as well, because I know so many people that are doing the work and that, you know, don't get invited to these things, that, you know, have been doing the work forever. So it's like, it's hard to find the balance of like wanting to speak out or wanting to do the work and maybe be recognized. Who cares if I'm recognized, but also stepping back when necessary, you know?
The hair journey thing, oh my goodness, I still am kind of on one. I started my hair journey like extremely late, and I want to say like it didn't start until last year. And even yeah, like in my hair, so I don't have really curly hair. I used to, though, like when I was a child, I had curly hair. It was just big curls, but they would wrap around my entire face. And my hair would, like, I was 4 years old and my hair was past my butt. Like that's how long it was. But as I got older, I was straightening my hair, because if I didn't, like, apparently, you know, it was as if my hair wasn't done. Like, now my natural hair didn't seem put together to everybody else. So I constantly had to straighten my hair. But doing that and putting so many chemicals on my hair fried my hair so much to now it just does like this frizzy thing. But this even in itself is pretty contained, because I have a crap ton of gel in it right now. But if I were to just let it out, like if I were to just like take a shower, wash my hair, put some leave-in conditioner and go out, my hair will go from this, but it's kind of like, you know, Mufasa or like Scar, like it's like that. Like I got like a full-on lion's mane, but it goes out like that. And it's just like this big thing. It just does that. But I was like trying to do like this whole natural hair journey and embracing my natural curls that are not here anymore. I don't know where they are. But it's definitely like a freaking process, and it like requires a lot of patience, which I'm not a patient person at all whatsoever. And I mean, like,
I can preach for that or vouch for that.
Yeah.
Not at all. So like, I commend you and your fucking journey, because I have no patience, and I'm sure that it required a lot of it. Like,
it did. I started it in like high school, like my junior year of high school. So I got my hair relaxed from like 5th grade to like 11th grade.
Oh my goodness.
And then I started like cutting it off slowly but surely. And then in college still, I was like still straightening it all the time. I wasn't getting relaxed, but I was straightening all the time still. So, and then in like 10th grade, I like tried to wear my hair out one time. I remember like during like a summer course, and my friend didn't recognize me, and it was like so bad. Like that day I was like, oh my gosh. I'm like looking back on it. It was like heat damaged hair. So it was like so gross and like frizzy. Not that frizz is bad. I actually love frizz. But it was just like not a thing. It was terrible. And I'm like, I look back on pictures, I'm like, you guys let me go out like this, like my ends are like blah. Like we would like go out and like I'd be like, let me wear my fro, and I had like my fro, and then it'd be like the dead ends, like I'm like, oh gross, cringe. Like,
were you guys real friends?
Been a journey.
You didn't tell me I was looking like this. You didn't say not one day.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, let me rethink some of these acquaintances really quick. But yeah, it's definitely been a
hair journey process now?
I'm like very lazy. So now, well, I've had braids in. So today I was like the first time I did my hair since like forever. I usually just do it in twists because I have pretty thick, dense, like low porosity hair. So it takes a long time to do my hair. Like if I don't eat before I do it, I can like faint in the shower type stuff. Like I have to get out and like ask for like orange juice or food, because like I will literally have to stop mid shower and like get out of the shower.
Really?
So like it's very like time consuming and dense and thick and like takes a lot of work. So I just don't do it. I just like do like twists or something, and I'm like, I'll call it a day. Like this is like deep conditioners in here, so I'm like gonna undo it and like literally like try to keep the twist as intact as possible and just put in product and then twist them right back up.
Right.
But yeah, I'm actually like, I've been saying I'm gonna cut my hair all off for like the past 2 years, and I figured having a baby would probably in like have me do it. So I'm like just fighting the urge, but not urge because I don't have the balls to do it. So,
No.
but I like want to just chop it off.
If there was ever a time to chop off hair, 2020,
Right.
yeah, like this
Yeah.
girl, that's it.
That's also
I know,
true.
but I'm just so scared, and it's like, I need to like, I'm very picky with like who does my hair, so
Yeah.
it's like I can't just go anywhere now, especially with the baby, like 'cause I'm feeding her, so I'm like I can't just take a day trip to New York or like take a few hours to go somewhere, and like I have to make sure that she has food and blah blah blah, and it's like,
whole
it's
process.
really like anxiety inducing.
Mhm.
So I like just keep putting it up.
I do this thing where like I start doing my hair in the mirror, and then like I like start twisting it, and then I pin it up like this to make it seem like it's short, right? And then I'm like, what if I just
Chopped it off.
like what if I just did
Just
that?
do it.
And I've done that almost every year for the past how old am I? I'm 29?
29.
For the past 9 years. And it's the first time I cut it, right? That first day, it feels fucking great, right? Like I feel like liberated, and I'm just like swishing my hair, and I'm walking around with all this confidence. And then the next day, it's like Dora the Explorer. And there's no, the bounce is gone, the frill, the like flirty curls are gone. It's just whatever. And now it goes from like being really, really curly, and then it spreads out back to this, and then but out. So like it goes, or like, you know, like the like typical standard like Egyptian hair thing that they like, that bob.
Oh yeah,
definitely.
It's like that. So
didn't you want to put it in braids?
If you want to just grab a pair of scissors and chop it off, go for it. But it's gonna look great the first time, but the next day you're totally gonna regret it, and it's great.
I know, I don't want to regret it. And I'm just like,
thing. No, I'm fine. Didn't you want to put it in braids?
Yeah. So.
Oh yeah.
Who?
Both,
Me or her?
both of you. I was gonna ask Nastasia. I didn't know about you though. Did you want to put all in braids as well?
Yeah, I just had it in braids because I wanted to like have my hair out of the way for baby for when I delivered. So I like had it in braids. So I just took them out. Like I've been taking them out for like the last week, honestly. Like good thing I don't leave the house because I had like my natural hair like in a bun here, and like the braids were just like chilling here. But yeah, so that was convenient, but also like you're sitting in a chair. So my husband wanted me to get them done again, and I'm like, you want me to sit in a chair while we have a baby for 9 hours? He's like, I'll take care of the baby. And I'm like, okay, but still, that's like 9 hours in a chair without the baby.
You know what I could do for 9 hours instead? I could sleep.
I know, and I'm like, it's money, and I'm like, but then I dread doing my own hair, so it's like, I don't even know what to do.
It's a constant back and forth. So I know Nastasia wanted to a while ago, but she hasn't done it yet.
Not braids. I wanted dreads. I wanted
there you
like
go.
faux locks.
Yeah, faux locks, because there's like this protective style of faux locks that they have. Because like my hair, it's no matter how many times I cut it, even though I don't straighten it anymore, like I make an effort never to straighten my hair again, but like it's still like it feels like straw. Like it looks fine. It feels like straw. So they're like, you know, you should just put your hair in a protective style, leave it alone, you know, just take care of it once in a while, put refinish them and everything. But I've been thinking about it, but I'm also so scared because when it comes to pain, and I mean just even like the slightest bit of pain, I know the one thing that I've been hearing from everybody that I've talked to is the next day you're going to have a massive headache because of how tight your hair is, and it's going to be really, really heavy. And I'm the kind of person to where, like, if I just experience just like the tiniest bit of pain, I'm talking like menstrual cramps, I'm talking like a pinch. Like, I had a butterfly needle once and I faint. Like, there's just, I have like my tolerance, it's not high at all. It's extremely low.
I don't know. That's gonna be tough, especially if you're like are you tender-headed as well, or is it just like?
I'm not tender-headed at all.
It might be tough.
No, my mom used to beat the hell out of my hair growing up, so I'm not tender-headed at all whatsoever. She beat that out of me. But like, I would like comb through and just like you would see like a facelift whenever my hair was being done. Like, it would just go like full on like that. So I'm not tender-headed at all. But I'm just afraid of the after part, like the heaviness and the all that. So I'm not looking forward to it. But I need something because my hair just in general, like the texture of it, I don't think it doesn't matter what I've tried natural hair shampoo and conditioners, I've tried not so natural, I've tried shampoo and conditioners that are meant for black hair, shampoo and conditioners that are meant for, I guess, whatever other type of hair. Nothing.
The default hair.
What?
The default hair.
For the default, right?
Yeah.
It just nothing works. So it's just existing. It's here, but I'm okay. I'm gonna figure it out. It's okay.
I think you should try it because I feel like it's not going to be that heavy.
I hope
it depends on who does your hair.
Mm-hmm.
And how big and how much hair you have installed.
I hope so.
So
Yeah, I think it was like 22 inches that I was going to try and do.
Okay.
But we'll see.
I'm
excited. I can't wait for them. And I think most of all, I know you're talking about how like you're pretty lazy. I'm pretty fucking lazy. So like, I don't want to do my hair. So if I have dreads in it, I can just wake up and my hair's done. That'd be great. Like,
yeah,
I could be doing so many other things. So it's okay. Hair is not going to be one of them.
I'm like, people that like do their hair all the time. I'm like, how do you do that? Like,
yeah.
How do you do your hair all the time?
For that? Or like the makeup, right? Because like that's also something that I don't have patience for. But like people like full on, and I don't know if you do this, but like they contour and they put like what is that thing called? The thing that goes under your eyes? Concealer. Like all of that. Like I don't know how to do any of that, but because
neither.
I love makeup. I love makeup, but I haven't worn any in so long.
Yeah, I own a shit ton I don't use. And I always buy makeup that I don't use because I'm hopeful that one day I'll use it.
I'm the opposite.
Yeah.
I don't use it and I don't buy it. I'm like, I'll get it one day.
No.
I have to go to the store with someone who likes makeup and they're like, okay, LaTeaNa, this is for you.
Yeah.
These are what you need, rather than me just like guessing. Like,
but you had a whole page that was like,
like I had a page for like my makeup stuff. Yeah, I love makeup. So we're like the spectrum. Like you're like the I don't do it at all, and you're like I buy it, but I don't use it. And then I'm like that I love makeup.
Are you? What products?
I miss it so much.
Like,
what products are you using?
Right. Usually I'll go for like I don't buy a lot of makeup. I'll like use one thing and then I'll like use it till it's done, kind of a thing. Except for lipstick, I have a shit ton of lipstick. So like face, I'll do like Fenty or like that's what I've been using for like the past year and change. And then like concealer, I'll use like the LA Girl concealers unless someone gifts me something nicer. And then like I love like Vive Cosmetics. I don't know if you guys know them. They're Latina owned. Yeah, so I love their lipsticks. Reina Rebelde is another Latina owned one.
Have you tried
I just love lipstick for real. Which one?
Have you tried the lip balm?
Oh yeah, I have a few of their things, but I only have like 3 because I asked for it. I got one of their like Christmas sets that had like 3 different reds, so it came with like a regular tube lipstick and then like a liquid lipstick and then like a shimmer regular tube lipstick. But I want so many more of their things because I love red lipstick, so they have some nice reds.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Apart from lipstick, like I know I can get into makeup because I love expressing myself, if you can't tell anymore or as much right now because of like the light contrast. I love coloring my hair. My nails are always different colors, like it's fall, so you can tell. So I know like
Yeah.
putting makeup on and like it's expressing yourself with color, and I love it. So I really would love to get into it. And I always like ask what Nastasia just asked you, kind of like, what kind do you use? Because if you love it that much, you must know good products. And those are the products that we need.
Yeah, I'm like not like a connoisseur by any chance, like, but I do love makeup. It's so pretty. I just love it.
Just got introduced to the lip bar. I had posted like on Twitter, I was like, someone please drop a line of Black makeup owned companies, and the lip bar and this other place called Minted, they dropped.
Yeah.
So I haven't tried Minted yet, and I'm dying to. But the lip bar, I haven't tried their lipstick. I tried their foundation, which I actually really and it was really easy to apply. I also just recently learned that you're supposed to blend it down to your neck. I did not know that. So
I never do that.
Yeah, I did not, but now I do. Now I do that. My sister right now is probably going to hear this, and she is going to call me and yell at me because she is like a makeup connoisseur. She's like, but I love their foundation. I saw like their variety of colors for lipstick, and like I don't know if you can tell on here because like the lighting is really weird, but like I have a really dark tint to my lips, and then on the insides it's really red. So when I put lipstick on, it's not the color that it's supposed to be. Like the shade changes. But I went on the lip bar, and they were like showing based off of like my skin color and the shade that I use for foundation and whatnot. They're like, based off of, all of that, these are some colors that we think will look really good on you. And they're their actual colors that I use because I feel like they do look good. So like I for someone who doesn't really care too much about makeup, that was like finding a gold mine. And I'm like, I don't know if I want to shop anywhere else.
Yeah. Their stuff is so pigmented too.
Yeah.
I love it. I love like bold colors. Like my closet is terrible because I just have like a bunch of prints everywhere, and I never have regular like neutral clothes. So I'm always like, I need new clothes, but I don't buy them. And then when I go, I just buy something printed again with a pattern or something super bold and like bright.
It's so much fun.
It
I miss
is.
that. This is one of the things we were talking earlier today that I miss, that like, working from home is quote unquote great and all, but I miss like, because I'm, you're in sweats all day. You just get whatever t-shirt you have or your hoodie or whatever, it doesn't matter. Like, no, I like having like those prints. So like now recently we bought like loungewear but with bold colors so I can be bold inside the house, if that makes any sense, just for my own pleasure basically. So like,
I was like, I want loungewear. I want that to be my vibe this year too.
Yeah,
exactly.
Great. I'm totally here for that. I'm 1,000% here for that.
Like not the random shorts and t-shirt. I love that too.
Yeah,
but,
exactly.
Like, I want to be cute at home.
I want to be cute. Exactly. I feel like that's big on like self-care. By this point, right, after 6 months, 7 months in this crazy year of quarantine life, I'm like, it's affecting my self-esteem, and I understand that in myself. So like, let's see what I can do to fix that, because I really want that to be better. So happy to hear that you're all in the same boat with me. Like, I just want to feel.
That's so good that you were able to recognize that, though.
Thank you.
That you were able to recognize, like, hey, like, my self-esteem is impacted by this specific thing, and here's what I can do to remedy it. Right.
Exactly. That's literally what I'm in the process of that, including makeup as well. Like, even if it's a little bit here and there with our meetings or whatever, it's like, even if
it's just like lip gloss, sometimes just like lip gloss goes such a long way. I'm like, oh, wow, I look so put together. Like,
there you go.
I want to know a little bit more about some things that we looked up about you. Black Speechy. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Oh yeah. That's one of my other pages. So I am a speech language pathologist. Technically, I haven't gotten my licensure yet, but I just finished grad school for speech language pathology.
Congratulations. She said that so awesome. Like,
oh, yeah. I know, right? She's like, oh, I just got that, especially in 2020.
Thank you. So yeah, that's my speechy page. Speechy is like the colloquial term we like call ourselves. It's like really corny, but I'm a speechy. So that's my page where I talked about, I kind of started at the beginning of grad school, just because I had kind of a non-traditional route to grad school. My GPA in undergrad was terrible. So I took like 4 years off to work, and I retook courses. So at this point I was older than lots of people. I'm married. I was a commuter. And then like kind of my whole academic journey. So I kind of wanted to share that. So I started that page to kind of talk about my journey and just like share grad school, my experience in grad school. So that's done. So now it's more of like speechy things, at least at this point, from like a mom point of view. So it's like watching baby develop and like her language and speech development. And yeah, it's been really awesome. So I'm more active on that page now, especially because I'm also involved with another big page on there that's like speech language pathologists of color, SLPs of color. So yeah, I do lots of sharing there, and I've met so many people off of there too, with like conferences, and found mentors. And my big thing has been reaching out to people of color and Black speech language pathologists, audiologists on that side. And it's funny because I've gotten like backlash at points for like not repping my LaTeaNa side, and I'm just like, at this point, like I really don't care because it's not my main identity at this point. Like I'm Black first and foremost, and that's kind of, especially with the conversation that's been going on, like for me, Latinidad is like canceled like high key. So because of everything that happens and just the kind of erasure that's just consistent.
So very quick to complain about how, the lack of embracing on your end, but also so very quick to not embrace us. Or if they do, it's closeted, like, right? Like it's not in front of everybody. So yeah.
Right. And it's like, at this point, like it's in my name, like I'm going to rep being Black first and foremost on this page, because that's what I want. And who are you to tell me what to claim? Like, you're going to tell me to claim my dad's white ancestry now? Like, well, no, I'm not going to do that either. So it's not happening. So yeah, that's my speechy page. Yeah. Did you guys find it because my recent post?
Yeah, we found it. Well, going to your personal post, of course, because we always try to find as much as we can in a good way of our guests, of course, and whatever, yeah, exactly. And I also, like we said previously, have different podcasts, so like I make sure like we talk about all the biggest points, and of course, Afrolatina's big one. However, that one in particular was really dear to our hearts because, well, what we discussed it before we started recording, but people who know us know that we've been teachers, we've been nannies, we've been with kids before. And it's just so special, and plus the fact that you're representing the Black community, just period, like you were saying.
Yeah.
Like, what made you go into the field?
So I was a pre-med dropout. I was like failing miserably. So at Boston University, where I went, it's like a very big thing, definitely a weed out kind of track. So people leave that and go elsewhere. And I happened to just know some upperclassmen that I went to high school with, and they were like, go to the Rehabilitation Sciences College and talk to the advisors, and they'll be able to tell you what you might be better at. So I talked with an advisor, and I was like, she was like, I think you'd like this. And I was like, I don't know what that is, but cool. And I never heard of it. And it's like so prevalent. So it's so weird that like people don't know what speech language pathology is. It's like
I've never heard of it.
People get speech therapy in school, like, and it's like, whoa, like I never thought of this. I never knew this existed. So I started it, and I started taking the courses, and I was like, oh, this is really cool. So, and as someone who's like, likes the science aspect and like the theory, but also being able to do the practical, like hands-on stuff, as I would have if I had become a doctor, I guess. I was like, okay, this is cool. I'll be able to do this. So yeah, I like working with kids. I love kids, but I also love adults. So it's going to be hard to figure out what I want to do exactly once I start working. I'm taking a year off before I start working. So after you graduate with your master's, you have to do a clinical fellowship year where you're still kind of supervised, and you're getting hours under a supervisor who signs off on them. And then after that, you apply and you become fully and fully certified. So that's kind of the next step is. So, but I decided to take a year off and be with baby, and then it'll coincide with like once she's close to 1, then I can start working and hopefully find a job, maybe relocate. That was the plan, to kind of relocate, but we kind of got stuck here.
Where do you want to go?
Yeah, so that's how I found it. Anywhere. My husband's from Florida, and he's been up here for like 5 years at this point, so he's like ready to go.
ready to go back. I grew up. I understand him a little bit. I grew up in Miami, so you're like, where's the warm weather here?
Yeah, yeah. And like he was always complaining about like the roads and the traffic and the speed limit and the potholes, and it's just
yeah, that's one of our seasons.
He likes it up here, but all those things just he's like, I could do without the seasons. I'm like, I need a curb appeal, and those Texas houses are not doing it for me. The cost of living, yes, but at this point we're like, let's go anywhere. Before I was like, I'm never going to Florida because of my hair, but I'll go to Florida.
Yeah,
I guess.
Yeah, the humidity.
I'm just
Oh yeah, isn't it so funny that like
so
these places of which we come from, right? It's like just filled with humidity, but when it comes to it, just doesn't agree with our hair. Like it's just isn't that? It's crazy. I think it's crazy.
I mean, at least it's moisturized somewhat.
Yeah. But I guess that. Yeah. Okay, I can get that. It just doesn't.
Because up here, like, it's always like dry and crusty from the winter, so you have to like put in that extra work to like make it moisturized and stuff.
Okay, I can see it that way. Okay,
yeah, and you have that dry heat over there on the West Coast, right?
I do. Yeah,
we have like that dry heat. Yeah,
dry heat, and then we just have like fire air, like especially like as of lately, like you just go outside and use fire. So so like it does. Maybe that is an issue that I'm having for my hair. However, I did live in Indiana for like 3 years, and in the summer it's very, very humid. I don't think I noticed a difference in terms of how my hair liked it, except for the fact that I look like a pufferfish. But that was pretty much it. I'm not sure if I noticed a difference in terms of how moisturized my hair was. I think next time I go, I'm gonna have to pay attention. But I think it's so interesting that that you entered that field of work. I think it's like, first of all, it's fucking phenomenal, and I still can't believe like you just mentioned it so casually. So like, I can't believe you mentioned it so casually, but like I think it's fucking phenomenal. So good on
Thank you.
I think it's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a really, really cool field. It's like really, really dope. There's so much you can do with it. I'm more interested in like voice disorders and like eating and swallowing. And I did like a stint with TBI in grad school, which I really, really liked. I didn't think I was gonna like it. So yeah, but lots of people, like lots of my friends are in schools or in like nursing homes. That's like, those are big kind of niches. Medical speech language pathology is kind of hard to get into. So
I have a friend who she's deaf, but she has a deaf accent, and she doesn't really like she doesn't actually like speaking, but she prefers signing, which is fine because I sign. Like I can speak with a hearing accent, but for her, she has a deaf accent, but she worked with a speech therapist, and she was explaining to me like the ins and outs and what they have to do, and how like you would think it's just like, okay, say this, okay, say that. Like, no, it's way more intricate than that. And like, it blows my mind. Like when I find out about fields that like, I just would never even think about because of my own circle and my own surroundings of what I surround myself with. So I think what you do is pretty fucking awesome.
Thanks. It's so funny that you mentioned that, because it's like, I have so many friends that are in like consulting and like marketing and like random things that I like know nothing about, and I'm like, if you stuck me in there, I would literally like, I'm like, what? I'm so confused. Like I would literally like pee my pants if I had to be like there for a day trying to figure out like all these numbers and like spreadsheets and like, oh no, I can't. Just stick me with a baby. I'll take care of the baby all day.
Yeah.
This is what we do though. Like, to talk about a little bit of everything, literally.
Yeah.
I totally get that though. Like it's, oh my gosh. Okay. So side note, I swear I'm not going to hold you guys hostage. Okay. This is the last story.
No, you're good.
But I remember, okay. So as I said before, LaTeaNas, and you already know for like a million times that I've said it, I run a production company, based out of Los Angeles that makes film and television and content for the screen. And a lot of the times, right, like we're talking numbers, we're talking about what's going on, what we can put out there, what the audience needs, going over sheets, and it's like a lot of emails back and forth, all of those things, right? And the entire time I'm just like, man, remember those days when all I had to do was just pick up a baby, and like it was that's all I had to do. And like, and I knew like even doing this, right? Because I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing ever. Like, right? Like I have no idea what I'm doing. It works, but I have no idea what I'm doing while I'm doing it. But like if it comes to like a child, I don't have to think twice about it. Like it just it's there. So man.
So how did you get into that field then? Were you exposed to that field prior and then became a nanny and then went back, or did you?
Yeah. So as a child, I was an actress. My mom took me to like auditions and stuff. I actually had a TV show on like a local network on definitely a public access that I was a series regular on. And then I turned like 19, and then I was like, I don't want to fucking be an actress anymore. My mom was devastated. After all the hard work that she put in, I just didn't want to do it anymore. And so then I was like, well, I don't know what I'm going to do with my life. I'm going to watch kids because I know how to do that. And then so I became a professional nanny, and I did it for a really, really long time. And I liked it, and I still like it. Like I love kids, like genuinely love kids. But while I was also doing that, what I've always done is write. Like I've just always been into like creating stories and telling stories. And one day I met my current writing and producing partner. This is like maybe back in like 2010. And I told him like this idea for a story that I had. And from then on, we kind of, in 1 week, we wrote the script. We got some interest from several different companies. And but then they told us that we couldn't be producers on the project. We just could only be writers. So we're like, oh, we're just going to hold off on this for just a little bit. Fast forward to a couple of years ago, a production company became heavily interested in it, and then it opened the door for our other projects, and then more, and then we formed a company, and then we were able to make our stamp and our existence known. But it was all just from like writing my ideas or thoughts down, right? Just like dreams that I would have or something of the sort, right? And that's how I started into it, and then like the success from that made it impossible for me to be a nanny anymore, because I did not have time. Like it was like I would work all day at work and then come home, and like I'd have to get deadlines in, or projects submitted for deadlines, and I would have to use the entire night. So there would be days I didn't go to sleep. So I was like, I can't do this anymore. I'm physically feeling like I'm dying. I have to quit. So I stopped nannying, and then I entered this full time. But it ended up working out because now we're doing like a lot of kids animation. So I feel like there's still a part of me that like got to hold on to that. So I'm really excited about it.
That's so fun.
It really is sometimes.
That's so fun. Wow. What a trajectory. Like while you were saying what you were doing, what you do, I'm just like, I don't know if you saw me out the other, but like I was like, what the freak is that? Like even just you saying what you do, I'm like, oh, I could never. Oh.
That's how I feel about you. Listen.
Yeah, me too. That's I was a teacher for 10 years, and I have so much love for speech therapists, because I also had students with difficulties and learning disabilities, and those were like my things. I always love to like help them the most. I mean, no offense to like the other ones, of course, but still you're like, oh my God. So I had to deal a lot with speech therapists, you know, like, oh, this kid is so whatever. So when I found you, it's a whole different angle, because of course Afrolatina is important. I know how important it is, especially for like Nastasia. But when I told her about like the speech therapist, I'm like, oh my God, that's just amazing. So it goes both ways. Like this is, you know, we all do different things, and this is why we created this world, basically. To like, you know, just chill and talk from makeup and hair 20 minutes ago. I'm learning how to draft an IG basically to this, honestly, which is
I think that's like the highlight of the episode for me, making sure that Nastasia knows how to make a draft.
Exactly. That's what you're gonna remember the most. It's like, oh yeah, LaTeaNa podcast. Yeah, they interviewed me a few months ago or a few years ago. I taught Nastasia like to save her drafts. Like this is what I did.
At that point, watch Instagram not even have that feature anymore, or it'll be like totally different.
Oh,
And
it'll be
like,
totally different.
remember
but
when they had drafts, guys?
I know. And they're like, these are the real OGs. Like,
Yes,
the
it's like their
ones.
old Facebook and like Tumblr, Twitter, like you old screenshots where you see all the old, like, how many were you guys on Facebook at all? Like back in the day, or were you not Facebook people?
Still low key am, because my family is, and they don't do Instagram well. But it's like MySpace, how that was. That's how it was. MySpace, yeah.
Yeah,
like
I had
back in the
MySpace.
day, you'd be like,
I don't have Facebook anymore. I'm like, I'm done.
Like, I miss MySpace. MySpace was great
too. I like MySpace a lot. I like how you can put music as well, because I love music. So I was like, you can put a song.
Listen, y'all, we were like coding and creating pages for MySpace. We were like little tech whizzes, right? And we had no fucking idea, and then we just gave it up for fucking Facebook. But like, we were on it. Top 8 music. Oh my goodness, I can't tell you.
I remember I had like Birthday Sex, the song on my page, and someone like ratted me out to my mom, and she was like, do you have a song about sex on your page? And I was like, no, and I like took it off. I was like 16 or something, and I was like, birthday sex.
Love that anecdote. See, that's the highlight of this episode for me right there. Who are like, oh my god, I feel like, because we do have a young audience, like our listeners, and I feel like they're like 20, early 20s, more or less. They have no clue what's happening. They're like, my what now? My face? Are you talking about my face?
You'd be surprised.
Listening to growing up, like if we were,
did you know?
Like, how the heck how was this okay and approved by the label to put it out there on the radio for everybody to listen to? Like, if you, my neck, my back, lick my, come on.
My favorite song.
Right.
I request it at every party.
Did you know that the latest American Girl doll, this is because I live with teenagers who love American Doll. That's the only reason I realized.
Girl dolls.
The most recent historic American Doll that just came out like a couple weeks ago, she was born in 1986.
Oh my god!
Really? And I'm like, how are we historic already? Like, how is this happening?
What?
That's where we are?
Yeah, exactly. I'm like,
I'll trade with my Samantha doll.
Yeah, oh my god. It still exists in this house because...
Same.
Like,
my sister ruined her, though.
Yeah. This is my best friend.
You have a hospital where you could take the doll to.
Yes.
Yes. Wait, no way.
Yeah,
yes.
they do.
Okay, so listen, you told me about Instagram. I'm about to tell you about American Doll.
American Doll.
American Girl Doll Hospital?
You take the doll to the American Doll Hospital, and you basically ship her off, and they fix whatever is wrong with her. And then they bring her back to you, but she's like in a hospital gown, and she's like a medical bracelet and everything.
It's just the cutest thing.
Wait.
I always wanted my personalized one. Like, I can't wait to do that. I was talking to my little sister-in-law. She's the teenager. She's like, oh my god, can we all get American dolls? I'm like, yes, we can. We can get American Girl dolls.
I wanted an American Girl doll too. I was like,
but I do remember Samantha.
Curly hair. Yeah, I had Samantha. And then my mom's like, those clothes are probably just gone now. She's probably like naked somewhere with her hair all disheveled.
You guys,
I mean, who isn't though nowadays?
I didn't know what American Dolls were until I turned 18.
Really? I had the magazine and everything. I got the magazine.
No clue. Not one clue.
Not because of me. I had them when I was younger, but because I didn't have any. It was like all of my best friends or my neighbors.
Okay.
So I went over to their house and be like, and I don't even like dolls. I love stuffed animals. Stuffed animals give me any stuffed animal all day, every day.
I hated those. I love Barbies. You can give me.
I had Barbies too.
No.
I played Barbies up until I was 14 years old. That's how much I
really.
Yes.
Well, that makes sense though.
And now I traded them in for The Sims. So like, have I really gone out of it? No.
No, but it's
not
your inner
really.
child. Like I can easily get the Winnie the Pooh behind me right now, and it's a big stuffed animal, and I'd love to hug him so much. So like, you know what I mean? It's your inner child, and if you know me, and I know Stasia knows that I adore Disney so much.
Oh,
so it's like,
you know what? I also had a lot of Beanie Babies.
Oh my god, who
didn't? Okay,
yes.
I remember those. I had the McDonald's one though, but yeah, I had.
They were so tiny. I remember they were tiny as well.
Yeah, I still have a bunch of them somewhere in the house.
Y'all fuck with Polly Pocket?
Yes.
I didn't really get that. Was like my sister's generation more.
I loved Polly Pocket.
28. I really didn't do Polly Pocket. I don't know. I feel like
Because
she
your
liked
sister's
it more.
older. I mean, your sister's 6 years older, you said earlier?
No, she's 10 years younger.
Oh, 10 years young. 10 years younger. Holy
Oh, but
moly.
it was out.
Oh, because they came back. No, because
It
they came
was,
back.
yeah. But I never got into it.
No.
They came back in like a modern take. I remember I was into it. I took them everywhere. Little heart shaped. And then, oh my God, one of my favorite movies, animated movies, is Toy Story, obviously, because it came out like when we were little. And when they were in, I think, Toy Story 2, if I'm not mistaken, you're like, oh, you see the little different, Toy Story 3 and 4. I think they made it in all of them. But I was like, I remember that one in particular.
Yeah.
We have kidnapped you for way too long, but I just want to say thank you.
What time is it?
Talking shit with us.
Oh, that's not even bad.
I think it's been about an hour, but who knows right now because we just rambled on. I just love us, like all three of us are like just doing this because it's like it doesn't feel like a task. It feels like, oh, I'm just gonna hang out with my friends. This is what I did for an hour.
Yeah.
You know? And then refreshed.
It's nice just seeing other people.
Yeah.
Like outside of your house.
As well. We're all like, that's essentially it. Yep.
Oh gosh.
Thank you, LaTeaNa, so much for joining us. We really hope that you enjoyed today's episode. This was super fun. And if you ever need just a little flashback or you just want to get back into the 90s just a little bit, this is definitely the conversation for that because we take you back just a little bit. So thank you so much.
Bye.
Thank you, LaTeaNas. Bye.
Have a good one.
You too.
We hope you enjoyed your tea.
We know we did.
Be a part of this conversation. Come join us. Find us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Pinterest, and more.
Where you can find us providing the tea y estar lateando con nuestras amigas. And remember,
We are all LaTeaNas.
LaTeaNas.